Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for July 17th through the 23rd, 2017. So let's just take a moment to take a deep breath and to really breathe with the intention of allowing alignment and aligning with spiritual clarity in your heart, and within your soul that is eternal and readily available to you. And so, as this week begins, already getting a sense of feeling as though there are some things that are starting to build in a way. So, getting a sense of some potential big opportunities, um, time for it feels like a readiness or getting in that frame of mind. And maybe it's like a feeling of a shift in gears, and that sort of the wheels are starting to spin, not only so much in the mind, but um, in the physical realm. So it's some kind of shift happening in terms of manifestation. There is some huge potential, is where what it feels like right now in the manifestation stages that are you are capable of managing or experiencing or engineering. So it's going to be, I feel like it's going to be not so much as it's happening to you, but it's happening because of you. And this is sort of a rule of thumb for us to remember. And everything is happening because of you, because of your point of attraction. And the the way that you go about in terms of action, the way that you go about acting upon it, these the things that are coming towards you, it has to do with you taking inspired action steps, or really, you know, being acutely aware, intuitively, of what is the right timing for you. So you're going to get this sense of a feeling to act, and they're writing out the word law, and so, you know, it's sort of like, and they're showing me sort of a graduate of some sort, and I think this is probably a spiritual um, kind of congratulations, or making some kind of shift. It almost feels like the world card in a way. And they're showing me some kind of bracelet that has a medallion hanging from it, like a charm bracelet, but it feels more like a reward, like a medallion for some kind of achievement. So in this sense, yeah, it does feel a lot like some kind of um, achievement, um, that is growing out of your spiritual connections. And so it's going to be really important for you to know that you're ready for the things that are happening because of you, and to not let your past, your perceptions of suffering or failure or lack of ability or insecurities to stop you from taking action, because this is going to be like, I'm feeling like a co-creative process for this week, where you are in alignment, and the signs are kind of all around you. You may notice these synchronicities happening, that are letting you just be aware that you are in alignment, Okay, and it sort of, that kind of reminded me of something I wanted to just kind of add to what we were saying last week about not using the past to cope. But there is one thing that we can add to this to help refine that, and that is to say, this is about being in the present and not using the past, because it blocks you from seeing the opportunities. When you see yourself and you see others from their past mistakes, or we see see the present through our past experiences and those failures, we can't really be available to what's occurring for us in the present. Now, there's a difference they want to distinguish between going into a present moment situation, opportunity, and looking for something versus picking up on something. Now, if you pick up on something, that's your intuition. That's guidance. You didn't. It's not coming, to you. You may get a reference in that moment, but it's like you felt like you picked up on it. And I think that the two are very clear, because when you go into a situation looking for something, that means you're looking for something to go wrong, or you're assuming that things are going to go this way, and it's not something you picked up. I think you can feel the difference between. I think it feels good to you when you hear this. The difference between looking for something and picking up on something, and so you can pick up on things about people, and that's your guidance, and it's telling you where they are right now. Even though every one of us is perfectly in alignment in terms of our soul, the way our soul, the heart of who we are, that extension of source, that is always focused in a place of well-being. But we are not always paying attention to that. We are not always honoring that. It's like going back to that idea, and very simply to help you understand this again, is the stomach versus your cravings. You know that, like, your stomach gets full. I know, because this is something I've been working on recently, and it's the noticing the difference, and the way that I've approached this really helped me sort of sustain now, my weight loss. But I was not dealing with the fact that my stomach was always full whenever I ate, and but I was so used to paying attention to the outer, the cravings, which was being caused probably by or for me, the sugar. And so you have to pay attention to the things that alter your brain's chemistry, and get you on that ego perspective of lack and limitation, because that is what is behind the craving. But the craving is just a pattern that's running like a program, that's like a bug. It's an error in something that you have allowed yourself to give attention to over the well-being of your inner being. And so if you could equate this well-being to when your stomach is always lets you know when it's satisfied. And so what you want to begin to do is really pay attention to when your soul is satisfied. It's like the stomach. It'll always let you know immediately that it has a response to the things that are going on in our lives. But our fears tend to override them. And although we can still feel that alignment with something, then our mind starts to use all the things that we've dealt with, all of our failures, all of our fears, etc., and starts to dissect and just rip to shreds this perspective, this clarity, spiritual clarity that you've received. And so the only way to overcome this, override that, or to debug that program, is to start sort of setting. What I had to do is I had to come up with a plan. So I had to, just remind myself that, well, in this case, just remind yourself that when your soul speaks, that sense of fulfillment is what you need to pay attention to, and that the other is just a distraction. And so now, like with the hunger thing, what I've done is I wrote out a plan, and I have my 5 meals, and then in between I write water, and so that now, when if it's not happening so much now, but in the beginning, that tendency, that program, that bug was to go find something else to eat in between, cheat, cheat, cheat. And now I have a plan, it's written out water, and I know that my mind is not, it's just a program, and it's just telling me that. But what I really need now is water, because I am full, probably because the body is dehydrated, or it's just needing that. But after doing that over time, I wrote a new program. And so you need to find a way to write a new program for the mind, so that you give the mind something to do, and so you can listen to the heart. Because when the mind has something constructive to do, then it's not in the way of your heart medicine and your heart's prescriptions. And you can start to hear and focus on the clarity of your heart. And then that allows the structure that you give to them, that your mind, the mind is run, the program that it runs, you can align it with the structure of what your heart truly finds satisfying. So be aware of this in this time, as you don't let your mind, just have its own, let it run on its own. Give it something constructive to do, instead of allowing it to focus on fear. Give it something that you love. Give it a focus that, maybe in that time you do something creative, so you don't have to worry, something that you enjoy instead of worrying. So the mind tends to worry, so give it something that it enjoys, that you enjoy in your heart, and give your mind that to focus on in terms of actions that you're doing. So many times many people just worry themselves to death. Yesterday I was worried about something, and so I told myself, but I felt for the first time and I think this is just sort of learning this from working with my cravings, and now for the first time I'm finding that I'm being more constructive, in a good way. And so I told myself, okay, instead of worrying, then let's focus on some things that I enjoy doing. And once I started doing that, it just took my mind off of that. But I'm gonna really tell you, really getting rid of sugar out of my diet, especially those things that like I craved cereals. I'm eating very healthily, but I craved cereals, and the sugars in the yogurt. So I just switched to plain yogurt, got rid of the sugar. I don't bring any soft drinks, just water. And I had a little bit of a withdrawal, but it's also helped me to just find more alignment now, and to focus on those spiritual lessons that are coming to me, that are helping me that are bringing me that spiritual clarity that I've been praying for, and allowing me to be more actively a participant in the co-creative process of that alignment and its fulfillment. So this is what we're sort of getting at this week, in terms of there's going to be a shift of manifestations of some sort of potentials for unfolding on, as a result of your spiritual clarity. And so you want to be able to be aware of those opportunities, whether they are like the result of some spiritual alignment, which all things is. Anything, success or opportunities or rewards that we achieve all come out of this spiritual alignment, and that clarity. So that's why I always say to you now, pray for that spiritual clarity, and ask to uplift your heart, or your experience, or your body, or your mind, and pay attention to what happens as a result of this, and don't ignore your soul's stomach when it is telling you that it's satisfied. Believe your soul when it feels that fulfillment, and don't listen to that sort of mental craving for that, telling you that you're lacking, you're lacking, you're lacking, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. Running that program, that bug. When you hear things like that, that's that bug. And so then that means that you have to go back and listen to what your heart says, and then give your mind a constructive program, a program that you created, that's enjoyable, pleasurable, that fulfills you, so that now the inner alignment and the outer now are match. And I think you should really see that the things that, because things aren't happening to you, they're happening because of you. So the things that you will see that start happening because of you will give you a sense of purpose and enjoyment. All right, so let's take a look at the cards then for the week and see the Archangel Oracle theme and see what our message is. Okay, and this is perfect. It makes a lot of sense. Overcoming difficulties. This is the Archangel Jeremiel. And he's sort of like these, you want to think of him as the psychologist of the archangels, working with life reviews, and helping you to gain some perspective in the midst of some of the most important things that you're creating. So, we're again, things aren't happening to us, but they're happening because of us. And when we're unhappy, Archangel Jeremiel can help you to overcome the difficulties that are causing the unhappiness that you are experiencing. He can help you to shed light on that and help you to, whether it's something emotional, then he can help you sort of get some perspective about that and help you to connect you with that spiritual clarity. So the card says, the worst is now behind you. You are surmounting any previous challenges. So this is very comforting to hear, because it has been a very challenging period. And so there's that sense now that we are beginning, what's been going on, it's starting to lift. And the thing that you want to focus on, as it reminded me, is focus on, I was just praying, and it's interesting that this is coming up. I was praying that the angels show us all the path of least resistance, praying for that eternal spiritual clarity and to guide us through that path of least resistance. So I'm getting the sense that this means that we're going to, need to allow ourselves to feel better until we can feel really great, And so don't become impatient with yourself. This is a process, and every process there are many opportunities. I hate to say an opportunity or anything, or one anything, or that implies one, because this is really a habit of our ego, only believing that there's one opportunity, one this, one that, one this. And we have to remember that if we're an extension of the Creator, made in the image of that prosperity and abundance and infinite resources, then that is what is really, truly always available to us. And this belief is limiting, and it is, it goes against the grain of the spiritual essence. So we have to begin, when we hear ourselves saying these things, we have to shift it and know there are many opportunities. Why? So that then you get in the habit, that new program, and another way of being, putting a little constructive awareness there and activity for you, is so that you don't always look at the one approach to something, that you see the spectrum, and like a rainbow, you see it as colorful, you see your life as colorful, and that you are, I talk to many people who struggle because they feel like this colorful rainbow, this infinite spectrum, yet they are struggling internally because they feel like they have to pick one thing, and then stick with that for the rest of their lives. And while this whole time, there's a whole bunch of things coming towards them, and that overwhelms them. And the thing about it that I've gotten from the angels about this in particular is that this is something not for you to stress over. This happens to all of you and me because this is a reminder of our infinite potential. It is a reminder of just how powerful you are, and that you should not be ashamed of that. It's sort of like, isn't it weird that we feel like failures because we have, like, especially, and I just want to put this out to people who feel like they aren't able to focus and they never get accomplish anything. They're watching all these other people around them, and it appears that they don't have your problems. It appears that they are successful and focused, and they're on a direction, and they've been building on this, and they have everything they want. And you, because you have so many things, your heart's so filled with compassion, and you have so many, oops, touched my microphone there, and you have so many great ideas, and you have so many aspirations, and there's so many different things that you could do to make you happy, that this should make you miserable, the most miserable of all. And the only reason it makes you miserable is because when you look at the outer perspective and the world's perspective on this, then you feel ashamed or embarrassed, or and you, of all, the reason that you're given these gifts in these moments when it happens is because this is to remind you of how blessed you truly are, and to remind you that you are made in the image of the Creator. And if you really want to have just a glimpse of what it means to be divine, then those moments that come to you do that for you. If nothing else, they boost your confidence and your faith in yourself. They give you hope, they inspire you, they motivate, it gives you great enthusiasm, it gives you that spiritual high. And that's a gift to come through when things are really seemingly a bit heavy to deal with. And so don't declare yourself unfit. Um, don't do this to yourself. So in those moments, say thank you, appreciate, have gratitude, and then let your heart tell you the one for the moment that really satisfies you, and enjoy, have fun. Eventually, if you would take that guilt component out, then you would be able to see yourself maybe accomplishing more with them. It's the thing, that ego perspective that you should be ashamed of yourself because you never da 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 da. That's what's holding you back. Let it go, and I promise you're gonna feel so much better about yourself, and you're gonna start to think constructively, and so that you can get things done, so that you spend less time beating up on yourself, and you replace that bug program with doing things and working, and not worrying about how much of it you get done, but you just keep working to enjoy yourself. See, that's why they keep saying that our only focus, the only purpose is love. The only purpose is something so general. And so if you just focus on enjoying what you do, then you don't have to worry about getting it done, because that's all the motivation energy that you need. You have the infinite energy because you have the infinite alignment of your mind that is focused on, you know, infinite possibilities and abundance. And so you just take these tools and keep working in a way that is constructive until you reach whatever outcome you discover. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the cards for the beginning of the week, because I feel like I can really go on about that. So let's take a look at the card for the beginning of the week. Now, isn't this a wonderful card to start off? The Wheel of Fortune, which is mostly this card is labeled as, it says delays are over. So here we got overcoming difficulties. In the beginning of the week, it says delays are over. Sudden or unexpected good luck. A new car or travel. So this is giving us a great sense that things are going to turn in a new direction or start to move. All right, since this is the wheel card, things are going to start to move in a completely new direction. Now, this can happen if you allow it. This can happen immediately if you allow yourself to start to see those possibilities. If you start to open up your heart, be open and receptive to everything that the universe is bringing towards you because of you. And if you see that the things that are coming to you, the opportunities that are coming to you are happening because of you, meaning they're coming from your own point of attraction, which means that vibrationally you were offering this. And so why would you spend any energy trying to figure out if this is the right thing to do? And they're saying this is what makes your life hard for you. Because when things come to you or an option is available to you, or options and opportunities and possibilities, you start to critique them, you start to dissect them, you start to dissect yourself and your skills and your confidence, and this kind of all just sort of causes the whole thing to kind of teeter out after a point. And so don't do that in this week. Again, don't replay your past, okay, your past failures or experiences in order to. So don't go looking for something to go wrong. Step into the present and see what you pick up about it. And if you feel this excitement, they're showing me that something is going to happen that's going to just move very quickly. And you may not feel like you have a lot of time to decide, or that there just may be this impulsive decision that you're guided to make. Go ahead and do it. It's gonna work out really well for you. So don't worry that you aren't putting in enough time to think about this thing. This is coming up for you, and it's something you need to go with. This is going to be just sort of intuitive, and they're showing me a woman's shoe. So I'm getting a sense for this could be for men or women, but if they're especially for a woman, don't worry that you're being impulsive here. This is a time for you to start to enjoy some of the rewards of your hard work. If this is a male, don't you may want to know all the have all the plans and everything worked out, but this is something that you want to go with on your gut instinct here. So don't be afraid to take this step. It's going to take courage. They were showing me sort of masculine Bigfoot, almost like the Statue of Liberty, that masculine foot. So this is gonna take some bold, strong energy to pull this off. You're just gonna have to step into your big shoes, but don't be afraid to do this. And once you do, they're saying stay in your own lane. Okay, that means don't be looking around and seeing what everybody else is doing. Don't look for validation outside of yourself. Do your own research. They're writing the word Google, which is do your own research. They wrote out the month of August, so this may be something that the outcome happens in August, but take the steps now. Don't be afraid to take action. All right, let's take a look at the card for the middle of the week. All right, and I'm kind of hearing as I turn this card over, this is an opportunity you don't want to miss. So don't miss this opportunity. Don't dismiss it. Okay, don't dismiss this too quickly, too soon. It's like, give it some time. Don't don't jump ahead of yourself and just say, no, that's not for me, uh, because you thought about something. That's the thing. Like, don't go looking for things. Pay attention to what you pick up. Pay attention to how your soul feels. Okay, not those fears. You'll know, because if you're having a fear about something, about this thing, then that's your program. That's that sort of like that craving. That habit of always breaking yourself down or not believing in yourself. Your heart it speaks in a very different way. It's going to just show a displeasure, not because it's judging it, but because it's just not harmonious with it. Your soul is always focused in on well-being. So the only thing it can show you is when something that doesn't align with it, there is a displeasure kind of feeling, or because they don't match. But your soul hasn't changed its focus because it doesn't judge anything. It's so but when your soul is in alignment with something, you feel it flowing. You feel a connection. So all you're concerned about is feeling that connection. And you don't have to worry about whether it's good or not, because when you feel a connection to something, even though it doesn't make sense, that is alignment, that passion. And your fears, all that other talk, it's just talk. Take your time, go through the process, and you'll find out more. If you just can't figure it out any other way, that's always the better advice. Just go through the process. If you feel a connection and then a fear start talking, just keep going. Give your mind something else to do. Keep going and say that you'll discover more as you go along, because nobody makes you do anything. Your choices, that's your divine power. So you get to choose at some point when you pick up on what's really going on. All right. So this card says, been distracted or failing to see a magical opportunity. See, taking someone or something for granted, discontentment with life. All right. So don't let yourself get emotionally distracted in the middle of the week with other things, other problems. Focus on your own alignment, your own clarity. Focus on the path of least resistance for you. Okay, that means from wherever you are to wherever you're trying to go, you may have to go that route. The path of least resistance is better. It may not be the immediate uplift, but it will lead you to that ultimate one. And the only reason it can't take you directly there is because of how you are struggling with your ego internally, is what they're writing out in front of me. So the more that you can let go of that struggle with the ego, trying to figure out, like, again, going between the stomach and the craving, and you just trust the stomach and just drink lots of water between those meals, the analogy, but you get what I'm trying to say, then you will find that the path of least resistance becomes easier and easier, and the struggle you're going through lifts. All right, let's take a look at the card for the end of the week. Okay, so we have the 10 of Spring. So this card, it says, ask for help from others, all work and no play, being weighed down by too many responsibilities. So this is about not letting, again, like we were just saying, don't let a lot of other things get in your way. So if you know that you got this feeling, you need to be open, or maybe you need to take some time for yourself. Maybe you need to relax or rest this weekend, and then all of a sudden, you got like other engagements popping up, or people asking you to come over and help them because they're moving out and they want and it sounds great because they're gonna like have food and they're gonna like provide you all kinds of amenities for helping them, but you're gonna have to say no to that, okay? Because this is a time for you right now, and it's a time for you to pay attention to the opportunities and the options. Like I get in the sense that some things may come to you, that you for you to work on, and for you to explore and to see where it's going, and you need to be focused on that, and you need to rejuvenate your energy, okay, in order to do that. So you know quietly bow out, or let some other people do some things to kind of fill in those gaps, where somebody always calls you to fill in the gap. Let someone else do that for you this time. Let me just see if there are any additional messages. I don't know why I'm seeing a little tugboat. Um, so it's telling me that you're pulling something or someone along. Um, you're what you're doing is you're like a little tugboat. You're helping to bring someone else's goals um, into their port. So you need to be doing that for yourself. That role that you always are doing is not very healthy for you. Some people work well, that they thrive in that position, but in this instance, they're telling me that's not what you need to be doing right now. It's causing you a great deal of suffering. It's making you always feel like you're in survival mode, that you can't get up from under some of the things that you've been dealing with. And so, this is a time for you to lighten your load, that path of least resistance, unburden yourself, okay, and to stop taking on those kinds of, whether, I hope it's not a job that you do, but stop taking on those kinds of roles in your life, where you're always helping to pull others along, and instead of letting them, drive in for themselves. So figure out a way to lighten up those kinds of responsibilities for yourself. Okay, let's take a look at the card that I already pulled from the bottom of the deck. And this is the Princess of Autumn, which is the Page of Autumn. So the page is about, messages or some kind of new opportunities, since they're young in general. So this says happy news about your career, promotions, or scholarships. So we were seeing at the beginning about some kind of rewards and kind of recognition. So this feels like a recognition, and it could be a promotion, because the graduation thing could also be not just a spiritual graduation, but it could be a job promotion, or that you discover some other job opportunity elsewhere, which could relate to this card, the Wheel card, and also this point about traveling, that may be relocating somewhere else, or that the job may be sort of a long distance commute or something like this. I'm really feeling that strongly when I said that. And that's why they don't want you to miss out on this opportunity. You're going to go, oh no, that's too far for me to commute every day. Check it out. Check it out, because it may make your life a lot easier, because it has a lot of the more things that you like. I'm seeing the word company, and I'm just getting a sense that it may be the right company for you, maybe the right fit. It may have all the right kinds of things that you want in a job, that allows flexibility or something of this sort. And I love this particular princess, because it looks like she has such ease, as it looks like she's floating in the air, her books floating, the coins are floating, and it just feels like that, instead of her, where she's beginning to find this freedom, financial freedom, this freedom in her work, where you start to enjoy, instead of it being all about hardships, you're starting to find this facility of ease. And so that's why you don't want to overlook some of these opportunities that may come to you, because they may just provide some resources, or it may provide opportunities, like networking. So let's just say, even if the job doesn't work out, you may have an opportunity where somebody else may be able to pick you up for something else. and you wouldn't have met them unless you had done the interview. Depending on what type of interview it is, this could really happen. So, that's why you don't really want to just turn down things that just because you're afraid. You want to go for them especially when you feel motivated by them, and they just do something. There's some connection there because there are many types of connections, and it could be like you go and something like that happens. You don't get that, but that person sees you perfectly for something else or recommends you elsewhere that may be right in your own backyard, and you've been worried about, oh, I'm gonna have to give this up, and boom, because you're going for something far away, and you end up right back in your own backyard, something you just didn't see because it was too close to you. And the where you were, there was no opportunities for that kind of networking because they were sucking up all of your energy and trying to keep you there. So just be aware. Don't be afraid. Don't pass up opportunities because the path of least resistance is what this is all showing us. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go in a straight line, okay? To get to, you could end up going a mile, but you may just go all around the mulberry bush, whereas you could just go straight in that direction. So the path of least resistance is about working around all the obstacles and letting the universe orchestrate that as they inspire you with guidance and hunches. So I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and thank you all for joining us here this week, for your comments here on YouTube, and thank you for joining us on the Daily Cart Messages. If you haven't done so, you can go to my Facebook page, which you can find in the description link below this video. You can also probably follow us through Twitter for this video and the YouTube videos, as well as those daily cart messages. If you would like an angel reading, you can go to my website, theangelschool.com, which you can find in the description link below here as well. And you can sign up for a reading Monday through Friday. My office hours are posted there, and how the process works. And I please ask that you honor that process, because it just is the easiest way to keep it people grounded and focused, and for me to manage it all as well. So I send you lots of love. Have a wonderful week. Enjoy the lifting of your burdens, and trust, and be open to the path of least resistance. See you next week.